Live. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, or as often as I possibly can be, I am your comedian / meteorologist for the evening cloud, Hudson, and I'm going to be bringing you all of tonight's top weather stories. Obviously, weather story that's very prevalent right now that everybody is constantly asking about is the California wildfires in Los Angeles, LA. There's many neighborhoods actively burning still. Unfortunately, the death toll has risen from an initial estimate of 6 to now 24. People are expected dead, so that is really unfortunate. Let's go ahead and take a look at those headlines so that we can dig into tonight's weather. LA wildfires, death toll rises to 24 as winds threaten further destruction. Now, there's been some conflicting weather reporting surrounding the wildfires of whether winds are about to slow down or continue to contribute to the spread of the fire. That is probably just for headlines. Some people were saying it was looking good, but there's still no progression along the edges. There's airborne firefighting going on. Drones, helicopters, they're dropping flame retardant. They're trying to secure the edge, but we're still under a Santa Ana wind pattern and have expectation of moderate to strong winds through Wednesday, with gusts up to 35 to 55 miles per hour with dry conditions. Some headlines have been saying that winds might slow down, but that would be relative. The next event is impending and people should be ready to evacuate. We want to think that it's going to slow down, but it's not looking like that's going to happen right now. Just looking at the way that the winds are coming in, looks like we're not getting a lot of new, fresh, moist air anytime soon. Looks like the winds are staying high. So I don't know. Let's try to stay optimistic, but it's not looking awesome. Here's another relevant headline. Mount Ibu erupts in Indonesia, sending ash 5 kilometers high into the sky. Look at that beautiful fiery plume of ash backlit by that incandescent light of the lava glowing underneath it. That is we've got a volcanic eruption, lasted more than 3 minutes. Lava was ejected 2 kilometers from the center with alert level status to 3, alert level 3. There's an exclusion zone of 4 kilometers around the radius of the eruption, while residents of the area are advised to use face masks and goggles. Tourists weren't allowed there. This is another, it seems like every day Mount Ibu does something, but this is a especially active eruption. This is one that's got that good juicy footage with it, with lava being shot way up into the air. So you can see the ash cloud being backlit by that lava shooting up into the air, and the lava kind of lights up the ash cloud. It's a really cool phenomenon. Okay, let's go to kind of a colder headline, Western North Carolina snowstorm eases and ski areas are now open. There are still ski areas in the Appalachians, even though it's not really it's no Colorado out here with like constant snowpack, but there's enough ski resorts out here to support like a regional skiing following. So those are open and have some snow finally. The weather in the Southeast we'll get to that update in a little bit, but it does look like not much snow has fallen recently. However, when we get into the atmospheric weather update, we're going to talk about the snowfall accumulation, ice accumulation, that kind of thing, because there's been like a melting, then freezing, then melting, then freezing pattern of events that's caused a lot of snow and ice to get people like trapped up on top of their mountains. Scientists baffled by massive structures found deep beneath the ocean. This is a really cool one. Legends of lost lands like Atlantis have captivated humans for centuries, but new scientific findings suggest that a hidden world may actually exist deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Researchers from ETH Zurich and Caltech have discovered massive structures in the Earth's lower mantle that defy existing geological theories. This is very cool. We're looking at the Nazca slab and the IBM slab and the Talkeetna anomaly. Using seismic wave data, scientists detected anomalous material about 600 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean. These findings challenge established beliefs about Earth's internal structure. The material, which behaves strangely under seismic waves, could be remnant of a lost land from hundreds of millions of years ago. These findings suggest a more diverse origins for these anomalies. So they're thinking that the way that seismic waves, earthquake waves, travel through the mantle below the Earth, below the Pacific Ocean, it's not behaving the way that the mantle should behave with these seismic waves. So, let's see. It's like an ultrasound. Basically, they're taking an ultrasound of the Earth there. Those are the seismic receivers. That is the VP anomaly, and doesn't say what that variable is, or the VS anomaly doesn't say what. Oh, those are from seismic wave parameters. That's probably like variation in those types. There is a very high anomaly there in the middle of the Pacific. So they used a method called full waveform inversion to create a 3D image of the Earth's interior. This advanced technique helped them identify areas below the Pacific Ocean that appear to contain remnants of submerged tectonic plates. However, these structures were far from known subduction zones, raising new questions about their origin. Subduction is a geological process where one tectonic plate is forced beneath another, eventually sinking into the Earth's mantle. Over millions of years, entire plates have disappeared this way, but what scientists discovered beneath the Pacific Ocean was different. The Pacific plate should not have any subduction material beneath it, making finding it even more perplexing. So in the middle of the plate of the Pacific Ocean, they found what appears to be, where there's no faults, what appears to be subducted slabs. One theory could be that they could be ancient silica-rich materials dating back to the formation of the mantle 4 billion years ago. Another hypothesis suggests they might be zones where iron-rich rocks have accumulated over billions of years due to mantle movements. So like settling out some weights or marbles at the bottom of a jar of water by moving it around. But fun one is scientists baffled by massive structures found deep below the ocean. It's like Doctor Who has been examining blood circulation. Oh, it's like a doctor who has been examining blood circulation with the ultrasound for decades, finds arteries exactly where he expects them. Then if you give him a new, better examination tool, he suddenly sees an artery in the buttock that doesn't really belong there. That's how we feel about these new findings. The discovery of these mysterious structures could reshape our understanding of Earth's internal dynamics. The presence of such anomalies hints at processes that remain poorly understood by modern science. The researchers emphasize the importance of continuing to develop new seismic imaging tools to uncover Earth's hidden layers. So, research underscores the critical role of the full waveform inversion as an indispensable tool in mantle exploration. This is really exciting. Could lead to inferences being drawn about what underwater structures are doing under the ocean. It could be a completely natural process, or it could be ancient civilizations buried. We don't know. So that's just a really cool, it's just a really cool finding, in my opinion. Let's see. Oh, we're not here yet. Let's go to our earthquakes. Earthquakes. Oh, let me see. Hi, Wesley. I'm so happy to see you here. I'm sorry I've been gone the past few days. I've been having issues with my computer. My computer just hasn't wanted to boot up. It will turn on and I see it's powered on with the fans and stuff, and then it just decides not to do that. decides not to display anything. So let's look here at the earthquakes. We are seeing continued activity over here in Ethiopia, both at the surface and 10 kilometers below the surface. In Europe, here near the Black Sea, we've got a 4.2, this time near Ukraine. This is right in the middle of the of these two peninsulas that kind of reach out and touch each other between the Azov Sea and the Black Sea. So, I mean, is it an earthquake or is it bombs? Who knows? Let's see. The 4.3 over here was in northern Italy. That's very rare and exciting. That is a 4.3 at 10 kilometers depth, 0 kilometers west of Medeis, Sicily, Italy. This is near Tolmezzo, Pruso, Medeis, right near a lake up there in the mountainous parts of northern Italy, getting close to Austria there. Then we've also got one off the coast here of the Nordic countries, off the coast of Norway, just like miles off the coast of these like islands that are that rough grated cheese texture of Norway, just dangling off there. Let's see. Then what else? What other earthquakes did we have? Oh, I missed the ones in Mexico while I was gone because of computer issues. There were there was a 6.2 here on the Guerrero coast of Mexico. That was at 34 kilometers depth. And there's been some subsequent aftershocks of 4.8 and more. Both surface 6.1 and a 34 kilometer depth 6.1 occurred. Just outside of there, we had a 5.8 at 0 kilometers depth at El Salvador, and a 5.4 here at 0 kilometers depth. This time that one is in, what's it say? Colombia. I knew that. Then over here near Puerto Rico, we got 3s and 2s. Here in central United States, we've got Texas quakes, we've got California quakes. We even have one off the coast of Northern California again. It's a 3.0 at 0 kilometers depth. We got a stack over at the geysers, some in western Nevada, southern and western Nevada. Here in Southern California, where they've got the earthquakes, the wildfires raging, there are some earthquakes scattered about around the periphery. It looks like this 1.3 is the only one that struck in the area where there are wildfires currently happening. Topanga, California. That is in the Santa Monica Mountains, just behind Malibu and Santa Monica. That is kind of near where there are some active wildfires. So let's go. Oh, wait, I'm not done with earthquakes. Not done with earthquakes by any means. Because there were 4 down here in South America. This 5.1 off in Ecuador at 82 kilometers depth, 4.4 at 94. 4.4 at 251 in Bolivia, and a 4.4 at 109 in just on the Chile-Argentina border. Then there's a 5.3 here, halfway between the tip of Argentina and Antarctica. That was at 0 kilometers depth. We also have some Hawaiian and Alaskan quakes going on as usual. I'm going to skip over those for now. 5.0 on the Marianas Trench, 5.3 and 5.4, along with a 4.3 here at pretty deep levels and shallow levels. We had a 540 kilometer depth, 5.4, and then a surface level 5.3, that barbells that we look at. The 4s and 5s up here had that same structure, with some very deep and some very shallow. Lots of surface quakes around Australia. This 4.5, I bet people could have felt, because it's pretty close to the inland area of Adelaide. Well, it's not exactly Adelaide, but the Spencer Gulf region is one of those. It's near Flinders Ranges National Park is where this 4.0, surface 4.0 was located. And then 2s surrounding the area, 4.5 in Indonesia. We've got a smattering of 5s over here on the wave-shaped plate too. And that is, I'm going to wrap it up here because I'm going to power through today's update. We got a lot to talk about. Yeah, some of these very deep earthquakes coming up, like this 5.4 at 607 kilometers depth, and very strong earthquakes like the 6.2 in Mexico. So that's what's going on with our earthquakes. Let's see now. Let's check out let's glance at the wildfire map. Harry and Meghan Markle appear at Pasadena evacuation site. Quite interesting. I always forget where I've put the wildfire map. link. Where did I save this? Oh, yes. It's this ArcGIS map. Okay. Wildfire incident base web map shows that. Oop. Do I have this open in the right tab? Oh, I just have this tab in the wrong tab. Hold on. Close my earthquake locations. Okay, so this is everything here with a yellow symbol is in the past 24 hours. So here in Victorville, they got a pop-up fire. They've got fires popping up all over LA on the 605, on the 710. We've got La Puente and near Avocado Heights, West Covina. So I know the name West Covina because of it's a place in a show I like. That's got a fire now. Area burned is not available for a lot of these new fires. And then there's all the existing fires that popped up in the past like 2 or 3 days. Even if they're not yellow fires, they're all from this Santa Ana winds, really bad red flag warning event. You would think that the city part would be fine, but there are plenty of city-based fires here. Up in the hills behind Burbank, we had a few fires pop up, as well as the Palisades incident. It has a daily fire perimeter with over 23,000 acres burned. That includes Tuna Canyon National Park. That includes Topanga State Park. Okay, so this was where one of those 1.3 earthquakes was. So this is definitely the same area that there were some earthquakes popping up today. On the way north, on the way to Calabasas, we have another one. We have the Kenneth incident near the Simi Hills. That's up in the Hidden Hills, Agora Hills, Thousand Oaks, Boney Mountain, all of the Simi Valley. The Hearst incident is also up here in the San Fernando Valley. That is, like very far north of LA, but it is, it's in the area. We also have the Bridge incident fire. Now, it has a fire perimeter as well established, but it was still going, and acres burned, 56,000 acres burned. That has not been started from this incident series, though. That is one that was already going on since last October. And we still have red flag warnings in effect from the Santa Ana winds. And that is a wind pattern, so-called because in this particular area, the Santa Ana Mountains, it's a lot more pronounced. But these really dry winds whip up the sides of the mountains, and just because of the shape of the coastline of California with respect to where the dominant winds go, it whips them into a fury of really high pressure gradient, just really fast winds that are really dry and don't have time to pick up enough moisture to keep things copacetic. So very dry and turning into fire. Okay, let's go to our atmosphere. Oh no, I need to look at our volcanoes. That's what I want to do. We already saw that Mount Ibu had a big eruption. Looks like White Island volcano is back in the news with an explosive activity. Low level elevation ash emission, which you can see there. Shivaluk on Kamchatka. the Shivalik volcano is popping up. Ooh, here's the Halemaumau crater and summit. Looks like maybe some activity from Hawaii again. Extended east movement. Let's see, eruption at Canlaon. Mount Ibu, ground report of discrete volcanic ash emission. Toby. Let's see, Kilauea. The eruption remains currently paused. Monitoring data indicate gradual inflation at the summit, suggesting magma is accumulating beneath the surface. During an overflight conducted this morning, lava was observed within both vents. The update highlights recent observations and outlines potential future developments at Kilauea. Let's look into this. Looks like our most recent eruption has yeah, I mean, this is thermal imaging. It doesn't look like it's new lava flow. This is just seeing all the heat from the lava that's still cooling down. Now let's go look at our atmosphere. So what I have up here is the right. Let's look at satellite and look at our lower level water vapor, and we can see just how dry these winds are. And let's actually look at Eastern Pacific. Is that gonna that kind of helps. This is very dry air. You can see that most of the Pacific moisture is getting funneled into Texas, into the East Coast to fuel that winter storm regime. Let's see. Is this going to give me anything good? I guess not. I wish we had one that, well, I guess that includes, is that included in Hawaii? Nope. That's the Hawaii scan. Okay, well, let's just go with CONUS, continental U.S. The winds here are blowing all this significantly dry air down along the coast and sweeping into the mainland of LA. You would think that onshore winds would be moist because they're coming from the ocean, but because of the weather pattern here of the air mass kind of sliding down the coastline, it doesn't really get time to pick up moisture from the ocean, and in fact leaves all its moisture up further north in California. Anything that turns into rain or fog up here is drying out the air mass to then go reach back around on LA. So I can see how some people would be confused by this, thinking there's going to be northern moist winds coming down here. But you can see that there are two little lobes to this mass where there's moist air and dry air, both coming for this LA area. It's probably going to be just a little bit more humid, barely more humid for a little bit, and then we'll get another big burst of dry air. So, meanwhile, over in the East Coast, all that moisture from the Pacific is making it over the mountains in Mexico and scraping across the Gulf Coast into the deep South. Everywhere that just got some snow is now getting more rain on top of it, or snow currently. More moist air is settling into the southern Appalachian region right as our previous system moves out. And we're getting, with this little warm front, some advection of moisture and heat, which is what we need to create more storms. At the mid-levels, we're looking moist, which supports some storm development. We can watch that happen here. It would be a lot more moist if there were healthier storm development, but it's not very good storm development yet. That's why right now we're not looking at big forecasts for storms. We're looking at it may continue snowing for a little bit, but not like a big snowfall event. Let's see. And this is the upper level water vapor, which is pretty medium, pretty on the dry side of what the upper level can look like. Let's look at the not single site radar, but the mosaic radar. That shows us this little pocket of thunderstorm sweeping from New Orleans to Montgomery, Alabama. We're reaching all the way over to Tallahassee and Valdosta, Georgia. We've got a little bit of sheep in the pasture looking clouds over upstate South Carolina. That's slowly, these rain clouds are turning into stratocumulus snowdrift looking clouds that will probably be dropping a little bit of snow as it moves through the central eastern seaboard. Looking at winter weather, you can see that illustrated in the Great Lakes region has its own winter storm still continuing, still raging out there. As we get this moisture in past Atlanta, you see like from Atlanta to Columbia, you've got this wintry mix pattern. And then like Atlanta to Knoxville, we're getting a little bit more of the snow. Atlanta to Chattanooga, we're getting more snow mixed in with that rain. So this is on top of freezing rain. This is on top of ice. This is on top of snow that is melted and refrozen into big ice hunks. Big chunks of ice have frozen. Let's go to let's look at the pivotal weather precipitation accumulation observation. So in 24 hours, past 24 hours, this is where we've gotten precipitation, not too bad. 72 hours, the past 3 days, this whole snowstorm in the south, this is all that we got, but it was in the form of frozen precipitation. So that adds up a lot more. And in the past week, this is where all of our precipitation is gone. And would you believe it that there is a red flag warning? There's actually a red flag warning coming for parts of Western North Carolina. So even with all this rain, you can't get away from it. Let's go to the Schumann resonances now. And looks like we had a little bit of Schumann resonance activity here on the, ignore the ads. I don't know what that is advertising. I mean, I know it's some cheesy computer game that's going to give you a bunch of ads, more ads, but very weird. This site in particular gives me some very weird ads. On the 11th, we had a little bit of increased Schumann resonance activity. It looks like different frequencies were amplified individually rather than where the Schumann bands tend to be. And then on the 12th, we saw that also mode 2 getting most of the action there. Let's go to our, solar weather I've got right here. Strength of the interplanetary magnetic field is moderately strong in the southern direction. Just a few hours ago, it was really strong in the southern direction. Over the past day, we've seen some decent increases in density, a few density spikes. So we've probably could see that on the magnetograms, the magnetosphere imagery. We're in active geomagnetic conditions. We reached the KP4 index, the threshold for calling it active conditions. Just earlier tonight, we had a lot higher activity. our solar flares have kind of quieted down compared to last week having so many X-class flares. We're back down to settling around the C-class flare territory rather than M-class flares. And we're even dipping down into B-class flares, which is a really low dip, which I think we saw last year after there were X's. There was an ebbing of the energy kind of pulling back and getting ready to slingshot back towards us again. CMEs, we had a handful on the 11th, but really ever since the 9th, we had let's see, between the 9th and today, we've only had 12 coronal mass ejections, not too many. Looking at the WSA Enlil models of the solar weather, we can probably see what hit us today was a little bit of just the Parker spiral, plasma density increasing and then decreasing with that. Just normal activity. Let's go to our webcam, see if there's any. I bet there could be some aurora in Greenland. Oh no, not really seeing much. Just a winter wonderland up there. Not much going on by way of aurora. Let's go now to, let's look at the magnetosphere. Look at density and see what this did, because we had those density spikes. There's a couple waves of density spikes, just wave after wave of very high density plasma barraging the Earth. Really elevated density, man. It's kind of trying to even out. There is a bit of a buffer here. Okay, you can see now. You can see the buffer. The buffer is keeping us pretty well protected, but when it was pushing that down, I bet there was a lot of ion precipitation. Yep, and we can see it on the pressure maps too, that like whoom, 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 pulsing, pushing of, yeah, there you go. There's that high pressure solar wind pushing plasma to the Earth. Poleward, pulsing, pushing solar wind, pushing plasma poleward. Some sort of tongue tie there. Tongue twister. Let's look at our solar or our planetary weather. So our planetary weather is currently such that we are, man, things are stressful. If you are not familiar with what it's like to be in a Grand Cross formation or even a grand sextile formation. If you're not familiar with what a cradle feels like, this basket shape that's made with these blue ones. So this is what my natal chart looks like normally. I'm coping pretty well with the energies right now, but they're very challenging energies. On the bright side, we have a sextile between Mercury and Venus in Pisces. Mercury is in Capricorn, telling us to get our shit together and make our plans, set those goals, make those calendars, start those routines. That kind of stuff is getting a little bit of a boost, maybe like an aesthetic boost of the dream of what our ideal calendar would look like. We're still doing the beautiful bullet journal spread, or we're still using our color coding system on the calendar, something like that. We're still actually enjoying the aesthetics of the mercurial state of mind in the Capricorn energy. That being said, there's also flowing energy between Mars and Neptune. So some of these goals and routines might be a little bit delusional, maybe a little bit far-fetched, or not really going to turn out how we think they're going to turn out. But we're committing to the bit. We're going for it anyway. We're going with it for now, which is all you can do. We've got the moon in Cancer at 15 degrees, making a trine to Saturn in Pisces at 15 degrees. That's exact right now, with Venus applying to a conjunction. So the moon is really feeling like buckling down and getting to the hard shit. I feel like maybe doing the hard work of taking care of yourself, or emotionally taking care of yourself, maybe getting honest about some things that you've been living in la la land about, in your internal world or your external world, but probably your internal emotional world with that. This moon is about to be a full moon opposing the sun at 23 degrees of Cancer. And that will be a full moon conjunct Mars retrograde in Cancer. The moon rules Cancer. Mars is already in Cancer, answering to the moon. This is the moon kind of trying to make Mars its bitch, but Mars is really actually just spoiling the fun of what should be a great full moon, where the sun and the moon have a lovely opposition, informed by the presence of Saturn over here in Pisces. Where I feel like we're having to take more action about our emotional state, maybe process more things in therapy, or our dreams are bringing up more things than we want them to, or like you're going to have to take initiative to process some stuff right now if you don't want the initiative to be taken for you. I think a good way to manage this energy is to lean into it and feel your anger. Feel my anger. I want to feel my anger about stuff that's righteous to feel angry about, and not stew in it, not sit in it and make myself angrier and angrier, but use this opportunity to really feel the emotions of anger as a challenge to sit with discomfort and practice acceptance. There's some things I don't want to accept right now, that the only answer to getting through them is to accept them. Then I'll be able to move on. But acceptance is that hard part. And we're just going to have to bite the bullet and grin and bear it. Just be not okay with the way things are, but accept that they are the way they are. There are things you can change about that, but there are some things you can't change, and you just got to accept that. Neptune and Uranus are also informing this opposition, as they are making trines and sextiles respectively to the sun and moon. Neptune trine the moon-Mars conjunction and sextile to the sun, with Uranus trine the sun and sextile to the moon-Mars opposition or conjunction. So I think the combination of those two isosceles triangles are going to put an especially Neptune and Uranus quality to this rage, action, homemaking effort, maybe related to past trauma with parents, internal family systems, things that are coming up about, your relationship to nurturing and what it means to feel loved and accepted in a place. That's all changing with, I think, the generational symbol of my generation is the Neptune-Uranus conjunction in late Capricorn at around 23 degrees of Capricorn, might I add. So this is bringing up a generational theme, I think, for my generation of our relationship to home ownership, access to a livelihood and a stable living environment for our family. We're all around 30 something years old and not having the same quality of life as our parents' generation had. And it's getting down to the, like, we're really getting down to it. We're not going to survive in the same way that our predecessors survived. And that's hard when we've been told that acceptance and home and family comes from a certain level of material success. And that you can't feel acceptance or love unless you have material success. But now that everyone doesn't have the material success, now that everyone has a lower standard of living, how do we still love ourselves and create family within those conditions? This is a lot of stuff that's coming up for me, I think. Uranus and Taurus really has highlighted a lot of the crumbling of capitalism in my interpretation of these events. This is kind of highlighting our dream for the future that we held in the past with Pisces Neptune, as well as our dream for the future that we are using today to tear down the walls of established material society relations. Revolutionary optimism could be great here, but also deep shadow work, trauma-informed therapy, really looking at our shadow side to figure out what we want to leave in the past and what we want to take into the future is all stuff that's coming up right now, in my opinion. Okay, let's go to do a little work on our energy readings. Let's get some. I'm going to do some other than the vibes I just interpreted right there. What are the other vibes coming in? Well, let's play our bell here. Okay. Let's see. Who wants to come out and play today? No one else needs to know this. Card with kind of a autumn leaf obscuring the face. It is not necessary for even one other person to understand these laws of the universe. For you are the attractor of your experience. Just you. Let's hope I don't need to convince you of what that means. Apparently. Let's listen to the tarot now. It's with my flashy little lappy. These cards have been very truthful to me lately, this deck in particular. Very honest. No one else needs to know this. I am the attractor. The Three of Pentacles reversed. Three of Pentacles reversed. So maybe I don't need to work with other people on material projects necessarily. Okay, so the Three of Pentacles reversed. The Three of Pentacles shows three people, one craftsman, one cleric, and one potentially person commissioning the artwork to be done in the religious temple. I think in reverse, I'm gonna intuitively say some stuff while I'm thinking. I think this is keep your craft work to yourself sometimes. Keep your magical workings a secret. There is a reason why it's called the occult. It's because some things don't need to be said out loud and shouldn't be said out loud. Some workings, the way they work, don't need to be explained to folks. Almost like art for art's sake can be kept inside, and that's okay. So also I'm seeing that reverse meaning could be not willing to learn from mistakes, unwillingness to learn, lack of growth, poor work ethic, lack of commitment, mistakes, lack of ethic, lack of effort, lack of teamwork, apathy, no determination, no goals, no dedication, no motivation, poor quality work. Very interesting there. Poor work ethic and a lack of effort. Maybe you're not putting in the work. No motivation or growth. Delays caused by conflict within a team or lack of spirit. Interesting. You need to be open and willing to learn if you want to make progress on your spiritual path. If you are finding that you are reluctant to move forward, you need to examine why. You will need to work on developing your spiritual gifts and find the motivation to do so. So, potentially, not what I said at all. I still like the interpretation of working by yourself and finding your own determination instead of needing other people to be your motivation. Maybe that is the problem, though. Maybe I haven't had motivation to do things on my own because I do need to confer with other people in order to get them done. I need that peer pressure to do stuff. Liminal space. You'll help us understand. I feel like I've been embodying that like lack of effort lately. Oh, this is a jumper. The rhythms of fate and the tickings of time. This has a really cool art on it. Rhythms of fate and the tickings of time. Oh, will you white balance, please? Rhythms of fate and the ticking of time. It's got both a spaceship control deck that also has a witch's broom above the doorway, the windshield of the spaceship deck, looking at like a planet in the distance. Tickings of time. Where is that? Maybe it's under the rhythms of fate and the ticking of time. These are the laws of nature by which all life abides, and they share the same goal: to continue forward motion no matter the circumstance. Tampering with either can be done in small amounts with great consequence, which can be as singularly catastrophic as an explosion or as generational as water softening a stone over centuries. Working within these parameters with great passion will produce genius. The rhythms of fate and the tickings of time. Those are the laws. Perhaps I'm not working within the tickings of time. Maybe not anyone else needs to know my interpretation of this. That's our little vibe reading coming in right now. Very Capricorn energy with the tickings of time and emphasis on work ethic being placed here. Also, Three of Pentacles. That would be the second decan of, that's the tarot card that represents the second decan of Capricorn. And that is the decan the sun, or that we're currently in. No. The sun just passed from the second decan of Capricorn into the third decan of Capricorn. So nothing's in the second decan right now, but we were just in it for a while. And Mercury will soon be in the second decan of Capricorn. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, I believe that's all I've got for you tonight. Don't forget to subscribe and like get the notifications turned on so that you can get alerts when I go live. I'd love to see you here every time, but unfortunately I don't work with the tickings of time very well, and I can't give you a standard time that I'll be on every single day because sometimes life just happens and I'm a little bit more prone to chaos than your average person. Yeah, that's all I can honestly tell you. All right. I love you guys so much. Thanks for coming back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Good night. Bye.